Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. I hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend and you're all ready to learn. In this class, we are looking at some questions and answers about the IELTS and about English for that Band 9 goal, aiming for that Band 9. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. Usually members are asking questions that many people are curious about. To become a member of the channel, simply click the join button beside the subscribe button on our channel. If you do not see that button, simply send us an email, adrian@aehelp.com, and I will help you further. Hi, Abhishek. There's our members coming in now. That's fantastic. Of course, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there, aehelp.com. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of answers and information for you. Welcome, Jaineel. Our websites look like this. This is our academic one here with the blue background. You can click that big red button to join the premium package. You can always click this little help button to ask us questions. In your My Student account, you can send us contact. There's a forum, there's a blog. So lots and lots of help there for you. We are an official British Council IELTS test registration center in Saudi Arabia. We're British Council certified agents. So if you got questions, let us know. For the general IELTS, same idea, green background at gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button to join us there. Welcome, Devansh Ferdovs. Nick Hill, again, this is a question and answer session, so think about your questions, members, because you'll have a chance to start asking me in just a moment. The screen's quite bright. Let me darken it a bit. We are promoting our new Instagram pages right now, and our Instagram pages, you can find out lots of answers and information as well. So check us out. You can find speaking cue cards, you can find discounts, you can find our weekly schedules, and of course we have daily vocabulary and IELTS videos as well on our Instagram. So check us out on Instagram for sure. We're running a promotion right now on our websites, Insta25. You get a 25% discount when you use that code at aehelp.com or gieltshelp.com. For academic IELTS, follow us on IELTS_AEhelp. For general IELTS, follow us at gieltshelp, okay, for Instagram. Okay. Let me brighten up our day here a little bit, and we'll get cracking on today's lesson. Hi, Gian, Titan, long time no see. Good to see you in the class. Okay, so today question and answer, and then after we'll have a speaking part 3. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, no classes. We'll be filming some HD videos for you. That you'll see later on our channel. And then, of course, from Wednesday all the way till Saturday, we'll have lots more classes, live classes for you. Right now, it's question and answer time. So this is one of the special perks of being a member is every couple weeks there's a class that's just for members to ask us questions, and we can give you answers and give you insights. So go ahead, members, ask me any question you like about the IELTS, about English, grammar, whatever comes to mind, about essays, writing, literature. I'm here to help you, and it will be a first come, first serve. So whoever asks me the first question, I'll respond to first, second, and so on. Okay, so Jaineel says, if I have a situation, when can I use subjunctive form? Okay. Okay, can you give me a specific example, Jaineel, of what you're thinking about so I can answer that for you more accurately? So this is Jaineel. And Janeil's asking, if I have a situation, when can I use subjective forms? I'm not sure what you mean by if I have a situation, Janeil. We asked that it be done yesterday. Okay, all right. All right. So in this situation, Jainil, of course, you're using the passive voice. So here, when can I use a subjunctive form? We asked that it be done yesterday. Okay, so this sentence is in the passive voice, right? Now, here's an interesting question back. Who is the agent of the action in this question, or in this statement, sorry? So in this statement, who is the agent? Can anybody tell me who the agent is in this question or in this statement? We asked that it be done yesterday. Okay, I'll give you another example. So, okay, who is the agent of the action? It's we. Okay. We is the subject. And agent. Okay. This is your verb, right? It's past participle for the passive. And here's the interesting part. Done yesterday by who? Okay, so who was to do what you asked? Okay, we don't know, so that's a trick question, right? Unknown. So this type of a statement, this subjunctive passive, Jainil, you would use when the doer of the actual action in question here, the activity, is not necessary, but the action itself is more important. Okay, so let me show you what I mean here. Okay, with a different, I'm going to give you an example that's going to make this a little bit clearer. Okay. I requested that my car be fixed by Sunday. Meaning, I do not care who fixes my car. It is more important that my car is fixed and working on Sunday. So the action is more important than the agent of the action. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, Jainil, so does that make sense? You use the subjunctive form, and here you have two examples of that, when the emphasis is on the action that's being expressed. So here, we asked that it be done yesterday. The emphasis is on done. I requested that my car be fixed by Sunday. The emphasis is on fixed. And in your last example, Jainil, I insist that he leave now. The emphasis is on leave. Okay? So that's when you're using the subjunctive form. Okay? In speaking, it's the same, Jainil. So when you're emphasizing the action rather than the agent of that action, then you can use the subjunctive form. Okay? So that's the reason to use that type of grammar. All right, does that make sense? Okay, and it's good to know that. Okay, all right, let me go to the next question. So again, I'll take them in order. All right. In passive voice too, whenever you see the passive voice appearing, think about the agent as not being important, but rather the action being more important. So the verb takes the importance, okay? All right, Amrita says, I feel a problem in the writing section. Amrita, that's very general. You have to be more specific. What do you have problems with? Grammar, identifying the topic, the controlling ideas? Do you have problems with structure, syntax? So what exactly in the writing do you have problems with? So Amrita, when you say, I have problem in the writing section, my first advice is identify exactly what elements of writing are causing difficulties, okay? Okay, then you have to specifically target these. So just saying I have problems in writing section, I don't really know where to give you advice unless you're being more specific, okay? Abhishek says, my main problem is in writing task 2 in the planning, especially on making questions what, why, and how. Can you please refresh once again? Whew, Abhishek, that's a big question. So your critical thinking, okay? I can talk about it a little bit, Abhishek, but as you know, Abhishek, that can be an entire class on its own. So I'll lightly touch on it, okay? So Abhishek says, I have problems, or how can I think critically, specifically ask what, why, how for task 2s. Okay, my first tip, Abhishek, is when you're doing your planning for task 2 questions, then visualize yourself having a dialogue with yourself, okay? So, visualize yourself having a question and answer session about the task 2 topic and controlling idea. Okay. Ask several what, why, and how questions, okay? So don't just ask one for each, Abhishek, but ask what? Like, what is this? What is it that we're thinking about? Why is it this way? Why is it important? Why would people choose this? Why would people choose that? So ask multiple questions, and then as you're asking multiple questions, so ask several what, why, how questions, and think about the accuracy and value of each. Eventually, you will recognize that one or two of your questions are the right questions, okay? So asking good questions is a skill that you have to develop and you have to practice, Abhishek, for sure. And one way to do that is ask multiple questions and look at them and think, okay, which one of these is the most accurate to this task 2 question? And then keep going deeper and deeper into that question, all right? So that's about all that I can say for that. I mean, Abhishek, we go through this every single time we do a task 2. So next week, we're going to have a members chat class, task 2, starting from Thursday of next week. So make sure to be there and then keep practicing and then ask me more questions in Thursday's class where we're specifically dealing with an exact example, okay? So on Thursday, be there and ask me more follow-up questions when we're dealing with the example in the class, okay? All right. Okay, so next one is for Dovs. For Dovs is asking, in task 2, we have discussed a lot about social and psychological issues. Can we discuss near future about environmental and criminal problems? Yeah, we can for Dobbs. I mean, we haven't dealt with jurisprudence too much, but we've dealt with it a little bit. I think we've definitely dealt with environment a little bit with recycling. Just recently for Dobbs, we wrote an essay about governments should create laws and regulations to force people to recycle more. Do you remember that? That's an environmental one. So, sure. Okay, I can consider that. Again, just recently we dealt with one. Do you remember that for Dobbs? The one about forcing people to recycle? That was a task 2 essay. Okay, if you missed those classes, I'm pretty sure you were there, then we can go back or you can go back and check that out on the channel. Okay. All right, I just saw Shaylee join in. Hi, Shaylee. Shaylee Shrivastava says, hello, Adrian. Thanks for your guidance. I got 7 bands in IELTS academic. I'm very happy. Little peace signs. Shaylee, you're very welcome. Congratulations. Good job. Good luck in your next steps. With a band 7, you'll be able to do just about whatever you need for applications. So all the best. Shaylee, send me an email at adrian@aehelp.com. I would love to get your testimonial, right? Okay, for Dobbs, yeah, I see your yes there, okay? So yeah, maybe I'll work a little bit more on getting a couple topics in there about jurisprudence. Somebody sent me a task 2 request, I think it was Moni, yesterday. That was a really good one, so I think we'll do that on Thursday, okay? But I'll keep the topic a surprise until then. All right, so Shaylee, send me an email, please. I'd love to get your testimonial. Okay, let's keep going here. So Ali says, what is the best strategy for answering sections 1 and 2 reading in general IELTS? Okay, Ali, so answering sections 1 and 2 in general IELTS. Okay. So first of all, Ali, my answer here is all of the strategies that you learn for academic are useful for general as well. Okay. All right. So I bet that's probably not a surprise. So ideally, Ali, you want to read the passage, you want to look at the questions, you want to visualize, you want to do critical thinking. So all of the same main strategies that we use in our academic reading passages, you should use for section 1, section 2. Now, for lots of strategy that's specific to general IELTS, okay, this is just a quick side note for specific strategies. Definitely check out our materials at www.gieltshelp.com in the reading sections. Okay, so that's just a quick tip because there's lots there and there's lots in the blogs as well. All right. Now, I will give you a bit more information here so that you get more utility. All right. So one of the big differences between the academic and the general IELTS is, of course, reading section 1 and 2. So as many of you know, reading section 1 and 2 in the general IELTS, they're 2 kind of shorter articles that are 3/4 of a page to a page long, usually with a picture as well to help you. So the one big difference between section 1 and 2 of general IELTS reading is that skimming and scanning for answers becomes a bit more effective since each section is made up of 2 shorter articles and usually on easier topics. Okay. Now keep in mind, and this is a caution, however, if you are going for a band 8 or 9 on general IELTS, some people are, they need it for these ultra fast track visas. On general IELTS, you still must read the articles to score well. Okay, so Ali, you can use, or Ali, you can use the skimming and scanning techniques a bit more for those 2 sections. However, at the end of the day, I still recommend reading the passage. And then you can use the same type of question strategies as the ones we discussed for academic IELTS because they have the same kinds of questions. They're just separated. So in section 1, you have 2 short passages, and then each one has like 6 or 7 questions. Okay, so they just basically separate them more, so they're a little bit easier to remember and it's a little bit easier to reference. Okay, so also often these passages have more distinct information, such as a schedule on a brochure, which is easier to skim read for. So names, dates, numbers. So oftentimes reading section 1 and 2 in the general IELTS, they contain a lot more information about demographic information or kind of common everyday business information like a class syllabus or a travel brochure that has some really specific names like traveling to the Bahamas or registering for second year of university classes, town council meeting, something like that. And so it's a little bit easier to find that information when you're searching for it. So that's another good point to pay attention to, are these kinds of names, dates, numbers in section 1 and 2 of reading. Okay, so that's kind of, you know, in a nutshell, Ali, what I can tell you. All right. Okay. Gian Titan says, I did some practice tests last night and the results are below my expectation. 30 out of 40 on listening, 22 on reading. I registered my next IELTS exam for February 21st. What should I do to improve my band scores? Okay, Gian, good question. So Gian is basically asking, how can I improve my band scores effectively over the next, what's it today, 23rd, 4 weeks. Okay, so you've got a month, Gian. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, ideally you want 2-3 months, but 1 month is workable, and I can tell from your English that you know, you're close. So step 1, identify your mistakes. Are they language mistakes, like grammar? Or communication mistakes, like no practice with third person with, let's call it standard third person expository essays, or perhaps both. Okay. So that's first step, okay? And you do that by looking at those practice exams, Gian. So now that you've looked at you've done those practice exams, the next step, of course, is go back and look at them, really hash out and identify where your mistakes are. And then that's your starting point. Because once you know that, okay, it looks like you're listening and you're reading are below the levels that you need. By the way, Gian, send a task 2 essay and a task 1 essay and also a speaking recording to my email, adrian@aehelp.com, and I can give you a score estimate for your writing and your speaking as well. That's for other members also. So Gian, send me a sample of your speaking, like record a part 1, a couple of questions, answers, a part 2, and then send that to me as an MP3. Send me a task 1, task 2 that you wrote. I'll let you know what those are, okay? I highly recommend using the editing service at aehelp.com. Let me show you why, and this would be a very good time for you to do that, because then you can really identify your mistakes. So let me just let me get out of here and really we'll just grab somebody's from the past here. Okay, so when you use the editing service on the website, let me darken it up, you'll get a document like this, Gian, where basically you get a correction. Okay, so notice how here you have the corrections, and then here you have our feedback, like this sentence needs to be finished, this needs a different word form, this is an incorrect word here, so avoid repeating the same sentence. So then you can really clearly see where you're losing your marks. Okay, and then you can effectively practice to improve and to review for those kinds of mistakes in your essays. So the most effective way, Gian, in 4 weeks to bump up your score is, number 1, establish where your mistakes are. Use our professional editing service for that. Use our speaking mock interview service for that. Send us a recording. We can give you a free mark, Gian, if you send us your recording. And that gives you an idea, but if you want a detailed idea, then spend a couple dollars on the editing service and the mock speaking interview. And same thing for the listening, reading, identify your mistakes, and then once you've identified your mistakes, then as the next step, of course, create an effective study plan that fits into your time and energy. Okay, so you know you got 4 weeks, depending on whether you're going to school or you have part-time work. You have to be realistic. You have to create a study plan, and then make sure that you keep track. Okay, so track your progress. So if you miss a day, then mark that you missed a day, and this is where I find that physical calendars are much better. Use a physical, not digital, calendar, and keep track of your progress. Okay. Many people these days say it's also good to have a responsibility buddy. So if you have a friend that's studying IELTS, then it's good to connect with them and make sure that you guys are responsible for each other. So call each other and say, hey, did you do that essay today? Can I read it? Can I give you feedback? No, you didn't. Oh, shame on you. Make sure to get it done by tomorrow. Okay, so find a person that keeps you accountable, responsible to finish your work. Okay. And again, I recommend using a physical calendar, not a digital one, so that you can actually see your progress and see what you've done and what you've missed. Digital ones are not as effective because when you're not looking at it in your phone or on your computer, then it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, I didn't do it. Nothing's reminding me, so I don't feel bad about it. Okay, so step 2 is create an effective study plan. And then step 3 is reassess yourself. That's what it is, okay? So focus on communication, focus on language skills, and follow these 3 basic steps, and then you'll do much better. Okay, is that clear? Hopefully you're still with us, and you heard that advice, Gian, because that's going to help you a lot. Okay, so. Okay, cool. Yeah, I see it. So Gian says, thank you for detailing all the steps. I'll send you those requirements tonight, gratefully, from Taiwan. You're very welcome, Gian. I look forward to getting your documents, getting your recordings, and then step by step, right? Step by step. So 1 foot in front of the next, 1 foot in front of the next. That's how you do it, okay? Brick by brick. All right. Let's see. Who was next? Okay. Ferdov says, can you explain a little bit about inversions? I'm not sure what that means, Ferdov's inversions. Can you give me an example? Maybe if you give me an example, I can figure it out. I know the meaning of inversion or inverse, but I'm not exactly sure what it might refer to in language, or I've forgotten. So Ferdov's says, can you explain a bit about inversions? Okay. At this point, for Dobbs, I would just Google it. But if you can give me an example, it'll probably remind me of what it is, and then I can explain it. Okay. So, I'm guessing it's something like, I have gone to the park I have. But if that's the case, the reason why I'm not so clear about it is because we don't really use inversions anymore. It's kind of Old English, okay? If that's what you mean. That would be my guess, okay? My guess would be, but maybe I'm completely wrong. So that would be my guess, because those sentences would be more or less inverse of one another. Basically means that I'm flipping them. Is this what you mean by inversions, for Dobbs? So I've gone to the park I've gone? Is that what you mean? Yeah, Abhishek, that's kind of what I'm guessing as well here with inversions. Okay. So in modern day English, we use subject, verb, object. But of course, as I explained, and we did that one reading where it says that in English, you can really put the verb just about anywhere, which is true. To the park I've gone. So object, verb, subject. That's Old English. We don't really use that style of speaking anymore, unless it's for a play or in some unique context, but it's not really used. You don't hear it. You hear it in Old English, okay? Is this what you mean, for Dobbs? If you're still there, let me know if that's what you mean by an inversion, okay? Let me see. What? Okay. Now, this does kind of, it does kind of bring me to an interesting point. where sometimes I get asked the question of like, how do I know? So let me give you a complex sentence using a subordinating conjunction, and then we can do an inversion with that sentence. So I cannot play soccer, or let's call it football, football for the next 2 months because I sprained my ankle. Okay. Let's change this to since. Okay. So here, this is a complex sentence. I cannot play football for the next 2 months since I sprained my ankle. And then here, I'm going to invert this sentence to since I sprained my ankle, I cannot play football for the next 6 months. Okay. All right. So let me just give you some interesting information about this. Sprain means to twist. So, Janelle, when you twist your ankle, it's not broken, so nothing's broken, but you twist it and you pull the ligaments. It's a sprain. The ligaments are those thick, wired tissue that keep the flexion of your foot. Okay, so I cannot play football for the next 2 months since I sprained my ankle. Of course, this is considered the independent clause or the main clause. And this is considered the dependent clause or the subordinate clause is another way they call it. Okay. Now notice that there's no comma here, and then here I just switch the order. So the dependent clause comes to the beginning, since I sprained my ankle, and then the main clause comes to the end here. I cannot play football for the next 6 months, and of course, very importantly, we have a comma here when you do this kind of inversion of the main clause and the dependent clause. Everybody okay with me so far? So both of these sentences are correct, just like both of these sentences are correct. I've gone to the park I've gone. Okay, I should probably put some periods on those so that you can see that they're complete sentences in the present perfect form. Okay. Everybody clear so far on dependent clause, independent clause, on the inversions in the grammar forms here? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay, so now, of course, a good question, and this is something that at band level 7 in the IELTS you should be asking yourself and you should be thinking about, is why do I say this or why do I say this? If both of these sentences are correct, then when do I say I cannot play football for the next 2 months since I sprained my ankle, or since I sprained my ankle, I cannot play football for the next 6 months? Okay, so when do I say this one? When do I say this one? So I've gone to the park. To the park, I've gone. So when do I say this one? When do I say this one? Now, again, this is kind of Old English, so we don't use it so much anymore, but there is logic here. Yeah, very good, Nick Hill. So Nick Hill says it's based on emphasis. Okay, that's the key word here. Okay, with inversions of grammar, anyway, if this is what we're talking about, like I said, I have to check, but this is where emphasis comes into play. Okay, so Nick Hill says whatever is first is emphasized, and you're absolutely right, Nick Hill. Okay. So in this sentence, I've gone to the park. The emphasis is on gone. To the park, I've gone. The park is being emphasized. I cannot play football is being emphasized. Okay. And I sprained my ankle is being emphasized. That's called the recency effect. So whatever we hear or say first usually carries the most emphasis. Now, of course, other ways we emphasize in speech are with stress, right? I've gone to the park. To the park, I've gone. I cannot play football for the next 2 months since I sprained my ankle. Since I sprained my ankle, I cannot play football for the next 6 months. So I can use my tone to emphasize as well. So the order of information decides emphasis, and tone decides emphasis. Okay? So maybe in this case, since I sprained my ankle and I cannot play football for the next 6 months, also I have to do physiotherapy and I had to stop jogging in the mornings. So I'm listing all of the effects of spraining my ankle. Okay? I cannot play football for the next 2 months since I sprained my ankle. So the football club is going to refund half of my registration fee. So I keep emphasizing football. The spraining my ankle is part of it. It's a cause of it. But more of the emphasis is on football. So it's up to you, the speaker, the writer, to decide that. And that kind of decides when you inverse a certain type of grammar in your writing or in your speaking. Does that make sense? So here I'm emphasizing that I'm gone. Where? To the park, to the store, to the whatever. But importantly, I'm gone. I'm no longer here. So if you expect me to be at home, you won't find me there. To the park I've gone. So where will you find me? You will find me at the park. Look for me at the park. All right? So the emphasis is there. Okay? And that's a very good question. So for Dobbs, if that's what you were referring to with inversions, then that was a very good question, and the idea is emphasis. Okay? So in English, English is very beautiful for this reason, that you can really play around a lot with the order of words and grammar, and that makes it quite tricky, but it also makes the language very dynamic, not just for speech, but also for singing and songs. That's why people really like English songs, because there's always a really nice melody. That melody is largely enabled by that dynamic grammar. Okay, so, and when you get to that band 6, 5, 7 level, definitely you need to be thinking about English communication in this way. Okay. All right, everybody good on that? So if that's not what you were thinking about for Dobbs, let me know, and then we can address it more specifically, okay? All right. Let's see who's up next. Okay, so Jainil, I see that you have the question. I have 1 month for my second exam. How can I improve the most effective way my speaking and writing? Speak and write often, Jainil, and get feedback. Okay, so for speaking and writing, you just need to do it daily, and you need to get feedback regularly. Okay, so it is really important. Okay, so it is very important to do daily practice of speaking and writing and get regular feedback to improve effectively. That's just, that's it in a nutshell. Okay. All right. Okay. Amrita says, I have a problem to write a conclusion sometimes. Okay, Amrita. For the conclusion, so how do I write a conclusion, I think is your question, Amrita. Okay, so think about the main points that you argued in your essay. Explain to your reader that they need to agree to your points. and think about why they should do this. Okay, so that's your take-home message. And we'll get more into this again on Thursday. So next Thursday, Amrita, we're going to do a task 2, and I'll definitely get to the conclusion a little bit faster so that we can spend more time there, and then you can ask me more questions, okay? So next Thursday, actually that will be Friday's class because we'll probably do the planning and most of the essay Thursday. So next Friday, we will be doing a task 2 conclusion. So ask me in detail, okay? I'll look forward to it, Amrita. All right? Okay, everyone. Lots of questions, lots of different kinds of questions today. Thank you for that. It was challenging my mind as well, so I appreciate that. If I didn't get to your question, if I didn't answer your inquiry as much as you'd like, don't worry about it. Send me an email to aehelp.com, and me or one of my teammates will definitely get back to you with some answers, okay? All right. Thank you so much, members. Always a pleasure. I enjoy these question and answer sessions with you so much. It's a thinking class for sure. Lots of good exchange of information. Make sure to visit us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and glshelp.com for general. We have a knowledge bank on those websites as well, so you'll find lots and lots of information there to help you out. We have a forum there. You can ask other students as well. So you're very welcome, Nick Hill. Hang out, everyone. We'll be back in 40 minutes or so with speaking part 3, practice and strategy, and that will be an all chat class, so everybody will be able to join in. Hopefully I'll see you all soon. Don't forget to use Insta25 for a 25% discount on our premium courses on our websites, and catch you in a few moments. I'm Adrian, signing out from Budapest for now. Bye, members. Bye, everyone.